Our partners at BetOnline continue to be your #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals, Major League Baseball, all the latest fighting news, and this season's NFL. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today. Receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV to get the bonus and get into action. Bet online where the game's.
Hello. It's Private Talk Podcast with Alexis, Texas, and we are back, season 5. And today we have Scott Nails on the couch. Hello and welcome. I'm excited to have you on my couch and get to know you a little bit better. We've known each other for a long time, but I also feel like how we know each other wasn't really knowing each other. We know each other on set, like, you know, people evolve, and it's been many years that we haven't really been on a set together and like got to like know what you're up to. And I feel like you, from the sidelines, I feel like you've evolved so much from just knowing you like almost 20 years
Back
ago.
in the day.
I'm like, it's one of those things I don't want to date myself either. I'm sure you've been in longer than I have. So, you know, I've been in like 17 years. You know, there definitely was a break in between, but you yourself took a break as well. So I want to talk about that, like how that all started. But for me, I think my biggest question coming over here was, how did you get into the business? I feel like that's really cliche, but like, because at that time it was harder for males to get in the business. It wasn't something that
It was definitely
you really like.
kept.
Exactly. So it's like, was it something that you just watched a lot of porn and you like found, or you like being in California, you just knew the right people? Talk about how did you get into becoming Scott Nails?
I fell into it, basically. So I used to, I used to bang this stripper and, shoot.
And this is in California.
Arizona.
Okay.
So I did construction, and no, I never watched porn. I never really jerked off. But I was banging this stripper, and then she got scouted out of Arizona. Same like cliche, you know what I mean? Like suitcase pimp. Like,
Okay.
oh, I could get you in Playboy. I can get
So
you in.
someone came to her club and was like, "Hey, you could be a star. You can do all these things.
Yes,
like,
yes.
come to California."
Yes.
Okay.
And so she tells me this. I'm like, good for you. Go. It was none of my business. We weren't like, you know what I mean?
You weren't a thing, but you were fucking.
Yeah. So she ended up going back. Long story short, goes to California, calls me crying. I'm working. I'm laying tile, and it's like 5:00. She called me crying. I'm not good when girls cry. So she had, he wouldn't fly her home, this, that, whatever the story was. So I was like, well, I'll come get you after I'm done working. So I took a 78 Ford and drove it to the valley to Porter Ranch.
Okay.
It's like
That's kind of far.
6 hours.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like 11.
You didn't think twice about this. You just heard,
Nah.
girl, you were like a damsel in distress. So you got on your white horse, your Chevy, your Ford truck, and you just started driving.
I mean, obviously.
Was it that bad of a, like, did he leave her somewhere? Or
No,
she
no,
just
no,
like,
no. She just wanted to go home.
Okay.
So, and he wasn't going to pay for the flight. And
What years is this?
This is 2000.
Okay.
This is May of 2000. So I was 1 month after I turned 18.
Okay.
So I pull up and she's out. Now, I lay it in my head now. End of the story is I got played. You see it.
Okay.
Me and you know, right?
Okay.
So I pull up and she's outside with her suitcase or has her suitcase out. And then I came out, honked, she come out. And the guy, I was going to put her shit away, and the guy came out and he's like, I don't want no problems. It's just misunderstanding, this and that. And he goes, I said, no worries, man. I'm going home. And he goes, well, if she wants to work with, because that was the issue. When she called me, she's like, oh my God, they want me to fuck guys. Like, I'm not doing that, this and that. So he's like, well, if she wants to do it with you, you guys could do it. And I was like, well, that's not.
It's being planted.
I'm like, well, that has nothing to do with me. That's on her, And he's like, yeah, I'll pay her this much. I'm like, that's on her. So it was like, she could make this much money. And I forget what I got paid. Because to me, it wasn't, in my head, I was going to bang her anyway. You know what I mean? So does that mean?
It was me.
So I was going to fuck her anyway. So I was like, it wasn't about the $75 or whatever I got. I didn't give a fuck. And in my head, like it wasn't like today where in your head, you'd be like, well, I'm not going to do that because everybody's going to see it.
Yeah.
Like, that thought the process never really went
But
through my
also, too, I think if, like you said, if you didn't watch porn, you don't really know how popular or people known of those things are, like, because it's not really your thing. And
Yeah.
also, I feel like at that time, I mean, dating you even further than myself, but I'm also, there was probably VHS or DVD. So like when you see the box covers, it's not something that you're seeing all the time. So where it's like internet is like
Yeah.
crazed
Yeah,
everywhere.
so it
So
wasn't
it's not it's like finding a needle in a haystack is what I was told back in the day.
Yes. So exactly. So it was an easy, I don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? I'd done stupid shit before, or and it was whatever.
You were fucking her anyways, and you were just like,
And she
hey,
got a paycheck, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? The girls at that time got whatever it was, $800, $1,200, whatever it was. So I did that, and then
So were you okay? So let's furthermore, because now I being someone who've been on a sub before, so that's the paperwork part, right? Let's say cliche. So when you actually fucked her, because now you're in part of a production, there's camera,
it
there's
wasn't like
whatever.
that. It was
it
like
just
so
like a
low
camera
budget.
thing,
Yeah,
whatever?
one dude in the room.
So it didn't bother you.
Right then, or like,
Okay.
let's go right now.
Okay.
So it was like 12 o'clock at night, 12:30 at
So
night.
your performance level, you were just like, it didn't matter who the fuck was in the room. It just,
I
because
didn't
some
give a
people
fuck.
who don't fuck on camera or around people, they get nervous and they can't, their dick's not getting hard. And
I was never that. I never gave a
although
fuck.
you are 18, so you're fucking young, dumb, and full of cum. So maybe there's just not a thought process. So
There was.
just getting it
I
done.
was like, nah, whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Not ideal, but.
So fast forward. So that you did that.
So then then the suitcase pimp books her, you know what I mean? Whatever.
So she stayed with the dude, getting work from him.
Getting work
yeah.
from him. And like, I never even been on a plane at this time. I was 18. Hustler flew us out like first class. That was like maybe the second or third one. What's his name? You maybe know, the famous stills photographer from back in the day.
From who? From where?
Kind of old man, used to play basketball with everybody and whooped their ass. He whooped my ass at basketball at like 18. He was like 90 years old. Shot on.
I don't know.
No,
I mean, maybe if I played basketball with some of those guys like David Joseph and stuff, and I was better than a lot of them. They were sad, but I don't know.
Stills only, and it was for print. It was for like Hustler or Penthouse.
See, I didn't get in the business until like really, like I started at the end of 2006, but my reel was like February 2007. So it was like, I don't really know if he was around still for a long time. I feel like people kind of stay around for a long time, but don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe it'll come to me. But yeah, I did that shot. So I maybe shot like 8 to 10.
So at this point, you were laying tile. You said you're doing construction, you're doing like all this other stuff. So when did it start to come in your mind, like people may know, or people like are going to start to recognize that I'm leaving work and I'm going to go fuck somebody and like for a production company? Because now it's getting real.
Yeah, up till then it was easy because it was like, you know, maybe a weekend a month or 2 weekends a month. Like, oh, I'm out, I'll be back. I worked for myself. So
no one really knew what you were doing.
At that time, no, not at all.
Slinging dick in the night.
Yes. And then
your autobiography should be
slinging dick in the night. Yeah. So then I ended up doing some like a blow bang or something for anabolic diabolic.
So blow bang, for you guys out there who don't know, is multiple dicks are being sucked at one time. One person.
But it wasn't even, so this is how easy it was. And there's like 8 dudes there, and then they're like, hey, all you have to do is come in. The girl didn't even touch you. All you had to do is walk up, come in this
How's
kind
it
of.
a blow bang? Nobody's coming? Oh, because she was drinking the cum.
Yeah. So, but
Dirty
whatever.
bitch.
I don't know what the rules is. So there's like.
You know the rules. Don't lie to me, Scott Nielsen.
There's like 8 dudes.
You put your load in the cup along with all the other ones.
But you remember the dudes. You know what I mean?
They were weird.
Gatekeeping, like trying to peg you down, like fuck with you mentally. You know, I
only ever did one in my whole career because at the time that I got in, like there were certain standards from our agent that you weren't allowed to suck so many dicks at one time, which sounds funny when you say it out loud. But when I did, it's very like, you could see how the small dick, big dick energy can go back because it's like they want to be like the one to prove that they're.
And it tends to, they want to fuck with the other dude. You know what I mean?
Have you ever had a fight naked with somebody because it's like...
No, there was so I won't say any names.
Okay.
But
I won't ask, but I'll ask.
you get big guys that, obviously are shooting or on steroids or whatever. This guy was kind of known
Shooting
for
just steroids or shooting their dick?
this dick was very, back then that was very rare.
Okay.
Nowadays, we did the number, me and somebody else were talking about it. It's like so high, it's unbelievable. Like, I mean,
The rate of how
rate.
many people are doing it?
yeah,
I feel like everybody pretty much does it. I mean, back when I was shooting heavily, like there was maybe that
20%.
wasn't back then. I would say like 10 at that point,
Okay,
but it wasn't. I
10%.
don't know about shooting up, but at least taking Viagra or taking Cialis, whatever the heck y'all take.
Well, I mean, everybody has their system,
Regiment thing,
right?
yeah.
And it's longevity is a game, was always been in my mind in a game plan, and fixing something with a Band-Aid is not fixing something.
Yeah.
So if I take, we all see it. We start taking 25 milligrams a day, right?
You're talking about Viagra.
Let's use
Okay.
that as an
Okay.
example. I do that for a month or two. All of a sudden, that 25 is
You
not
have to
going to
go
work.
back to
I have to
higher.
go 50. Then what happens? Then 100, then 200, then 300.
So
Well,
that
where do
just
you go
doesn't
from
work.
there?
Yeah.
Then you go to the needle. Then how long does the needle last? 5 years. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
these are all things that you have to look at, that I always looked at from the beginning. I was like, okay,
So how do you maintain, because do you do anything to enhance your performance, or do you just keep yourself healthy to get to the point where it's just
I have
functional?
one, it's 99% mental,
Okay.
right? So I'm a huge advocate of, just like a fight, having a game plan, having an oh fuck plan, having an oh fuck plan, having an I'm an absolutely fucked plan. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But the point is, you control the narrative. You know what I mean? So a big thing for me, I think my business, what has made me the most successful is, one, control your narrative, like the atmosphere,
Your environment.
your environment. So if I'm not comfortable, if I don't like you, if I'm not gonna work for you. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like,
But I feel like that, and I think that, and say I'm wrong or not, and like I think that like in this day and age, in like this time, that's more allowable than that was back in the day. So I feel like you were always in a sense labeled as the troublemaker, or you didn't listen, or you whatever.
Me?
Yeah, like, or you, and that's why I feel like, and again, I'm projecting because I was looking in Elsonia's, why you worked for like Digital Playground, or people that you only liked was because you didn't have to, because you had enough
Yeah.
games with them, but it was also
Why would I?
why would you?
Why?
But I feel like I respect that more, is because I'm just like the blunt Texas Southern person, where it's like I'd rather speak my mind
That's
than
how-
you figure it out. But a lot of people don't operate that, because if I would, and when I start to do is, I'm a diva. I'm difficult to work with. And I feel like in our business,
I'm the
if you
easiest to
don't,
work with.
but that's what I'm saying is, by you stating what your needs are, that should be
Yes.
more easy and not be like a finicky thing. Where
It is
nowadays
today.
I feel
It is
like
today.
now there's more advocates, and you are you contracted solely with browsers?
Mhm.
So like you guys have like a liaison that like does these things for talent that wasn't really like advocating for us because you didn't know you could. Where I feel like you've always done that, because
They've
you're like the
done-
male role of, you just always been like, I don't give a fuck. Like if it's because you're not comfortable, like you are at the end of the day having to fuck somebody.
Yeah,
And
like,
it's like an emotional thing. It's not like you're a robot where it'd be like, okay, be in a hostile environment, like go fuck 10 bitches. It's easy
Yeah.
as it could be if you're shooting up and doing things to enhance your performance, regardless of your rage is intact or not. I think that speaks volume of performance of like longevity.
but we are performers first. Like, I think a lot of,
We're sexual athletes is what I like to say.
Exactly.
We do,
So-
it's a sport in a sense, but that's also why we have to have a mindset of, you can't fuck the night before, or you can't do certain things,
100%.
of like why it's
you
maybe harder.
can.
Well, yeah, but within a certain time frame of what that is. And again, like you said, everybody's regimen is different.
Look, you can do whatever you want, but this is what I always say. Like, I'm judged and I'm paid off like my batting average, right? Just as much as showing up on time, as being, getting along with girls, like taking that and juggling it, the juggling personalities. These are all things that come to me under the lines of what my job entails. So, and it's doing things that I wouldn't do necessarily in my private life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I work with people that, it doesn't matter. I can't have at work a blonde or brunette. If I start only liking blondes, then what happens when it's a brunette? You know what I mean?
So talk about that. How, as a man, and do you stay in the field of like you just like everything? Because again,
uh,
it is you're an
well, you
athlete,
have to.
right? So you have to do some kind of
So I, it sounds stupid, but my dick is a whole nother entity, especially when it's at work.
mhm,
So sometimes I negotiate. Sometimes I got, it's like a kid. I got to kind of trick them.
okay.
Let's say a double. Like if I'm going to do 2 in a day,
Mhm.
my only one stipulation is I want 20-minute nap.
Okay.
So I don't give a fuck. I'll do a scene. You let me fall asleep for 20 minutes. I will wake up and do another scene.
Okay.
Why? Because I've learned that my dick's too stupid to know any better. So he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, it's another fucking day." And this is a way that I can perform,
Okay.
and that motherfucker can pay rent, for twice that day. But the same thing when it comes to blondes, brunettes, this body type, this, whatever. I can't have favorites at work going on both sides of the fence. Let's say me,
Get too excited.
exactly. So my job is to walk a tightrope,
Mhm.
and that's it. Just stay balanced. And when they say go 2 minutes, I pop. That's it.
So you have it down. They could tell you 2 minutes. You're the exact because some people have like
Oh, my
an
dick has the
internal
best
clock
100. My dick is like
because time is money.
100. Dude, they'll go like, we want 17 and a half minutes more, right? And I'll run straight through and I'll look at them and I'll be like, you ready? Boom, pop. And I'm like, where were we at? And they're like 17:42. Me and Sly. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
Sly.
It's a science, but after you do it, it's like riding a bike. Like I
It's
recently
10 miles an hour.
well, yeah, but it's
It's
like one of those things too. It's like I came back after like 5 years and I did a big scene with Dread. Well, at first I was like, I wanted to go big or go home, and I wasn't going home, but I was like, can I do it? Can I do this? But as soon as I did, I was like definitely did this.
riding a
But it was
bike.
like riding a bike. It was like the same thing of like where you look for the camera, your timing, your pointing of like your angles of because it's not just regular sex like you're at home. It's like you're opened up. You have to do certain things, and if
But
you
when I do perform, I get in this like, it's like this just perfect. I feel like the more I perform, like if I'm doing, there's definitely a magic number per month
okay.
that I become so focused, that I can ride that tightrope becomes wider
In a good way for you or bad?
in a good way for performing, meaning
Okay.
like I could
So
just,
you're like in the zone. It's like net. It's
yeah,
like
it
it's
just
like you're. It's
feels,
like an assembly line of pussy
yeah. But if it's like, say it's a couple, let's say I'm only doing a couple a month. Well, then my dick's so sensitive, and
because you're
he's
not
so,
getting a lot of action.
yeah, he's
So you
excited
got to
to
keep
be
him in
there.
rotation, or it
Yes,
really
you got to
doesn't
use
work.
the, yeah.
So what do you do when you take time off? Do you actually your dick really take time off, or do you have to
Yes.
keep him in rotation?
So
Because
like we were talking about earlier, it goes back to like batting average and why does browsers even want to hold me on contract? It's because I have of ethics. I'm not gonna be out fucking till, I'm not saying I've never done it before, but
come on, God, I've seen you at the Circle Bar a couple times.
it's been bad a couple times. But I'm old now. I behave.
I see the gray hairs. It's
I
okay.
got
You're
kids.
you're cleaned up right now. But at AVN, I definitely saw you were embracing the gray hairs, which I feel like also why I was excited to have you here is because you are a legend and you've been in the business for a very long time and you're still active and you're still people still know you and people respect you. And I think that speaks to like you embrace who you are in all aspects. So I feel like it's cool to see not only your evolution of like from like you said, yeah, we've all had the crazy nights, whatever, but it's like how serious you take your job and your contract and like that's what feeds your family and your lifestyle and all
100%.
those things. So it is a job and people forget that like, oh,
Mhm.
you're fucking these beautiful women and blonde, brunette, big titty, whatever the fuck. But at the end of the day, you're still
Dude,
it's a job.
I go home with bruises. Because we hold those positions,
Mhm.
and then I could go all cut. Can I get a towel? Can
But
I
then
get
you're
a
gonna
pillow?
your whole time is gonna be longer.
Exactly. Then they cut. That adds a minute. Like people don't like every time the girl's like cut. I'm like, so I don't do that. Like I'm not saying they shouldn't,
Yeah.
because the biggest thing is for me, and I think guys forget this. It's not about me. Like I've never been that guy that's like putting his face. Anytime I see the camera, I kind of like it should be about you. I turn your head. I make sure you look good. I readjust your hand. I turn you to the light. These are all things that I'm constantly focused on.
But do you feel like you focus sometimes too hyper on that and you don't enjoy the actual sex anymore? Or do you still start to
I
finish
come in and
enjoy
out.
it? Okay.
That's part of walking the tightrope,
Okay.
right? So I use it to my advantage too sometimes. Sometimes I'm
Yeah.
fucking counting lights. Sometimes I'm looking at
Do you ever do
Slack.
that in your personal life by accident? 'Cause you're so used to
You know, like
you're
personal life, and it goes into like performing too, is I love when the girls just are enjoying themselves. Like, I'm here for you. You know what I mean?
you want to be
And
used.
yeah, I want you to enjoy
Yeah.
yourself to the highest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to reciprocate, give me 2 minutes at the end. You know what I mean? Or just
So
tell me when
generous.
you're
You just
done.
like the 2-minute mark,
Because I enjoy the whole
the pleasing part.
Yeah.
Giving back to it's
Yeah.
not selfish partner.
Yes. And then and then when you say, all right, I'm done, then I work on then I do what I want to do, and I just don't take that long.
It doesn't take that long. You've got a little perverted mind up there. Do you have a spank bank that you go back to, or you can just think of one thing?
I have Rolodexes in my head.
Okay.
You know what
Okay.
I mean? So
Have you ever had a favorite that became an issue of why you had to learn this lesson of your tightrope walking, of where it maybe got a little too exciting
you
and
know
fun?
what's weird is I have popped early, when I took that break and then I came back. It was tough, man. Like,
Okay.
like
How long were you gone?
I was gone for about 8 years.
Okay.
So coming back, it's like, like you said, sexual athletes let's imagine quitting the NFL for 8 years and then boom, going right into playoffs or whatever.
Yeah.
The game with browsers is
It's high level.
and there's a lot,
They expect a lot from you, but they're also paying you top dollar again, where it's all those things
top.
or whatever. And you're also working for them and their prestigious company that want their shit to look good, from your angles of why you say that showcasing the woman is thing, but your dick does the job.
And it's other things behind that too, like I said, turning lights, positioning, personalities. If you're butting heads with everybody, nobody wants to fucking work with you. So I think it's all these things together.
How long have you been in contract with them?
Um,
Since you came back, or
So, but from the get, back to when I was 18 and I, Hustler put me on a plane for the first time. Then I did that blow bang for Anabolic. They came to me and said, we would like to put you under contract. We want to guarantee you. And that's when I first started having like true business
leverage
talk.
of having
Like, okay, wait a minute. And then I was like, well, I could do this at home and do this, and that didn't end up working. But working for Anabolic was a huge
jump in there.
Well, they were gonzo, right?
Yeah.
So then at the same time, I was like, okay, well, this company wants this many a month, right? You get first dibs. Here's my 30 open days. Pick the amount of days you want.
And at that time, they you could work every day if you wanted. Because they were shooting so much porn and DVD things or whatever.
There was months where I shot 35, 40 scenes. And then on the left hand, then we had Digital Playground, which was like DVD.
Yeah.
So these two didn't conflict. So then I went over to digital because I got along with Robbie D really well. We meshed well personality wise, and I felt comfortable. And
so it's not that and I sense that it wasn't that it was the easiest thing, but it did come kind of easy as far as where you fell in line to certain things, because it's most people
fell into a contract that guys would have that I didn't even have.
And those were also too Anabolic too is big names and prestigious companies that if you're doing something whatever, and then Digital Playground, that's a whole other type of now you've got contract, and that was a huge. I remember being in the movie theater that they rented out to do the premiere of the first one, just crazy budgets that most people kind of didn't do. So it's kind of cool to see the leverage that you could kind of play with now. And how did that kind of bring into how our browsers came?
Well, so before browsers, and I've been affiliated with the company since 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And so it went from Anabolic, Digital Playground. These were just my two sources of income for a long time. And then a little bit of out branching, just to kind of put I worked for, Axel Braun and all these other people that I'd kind of just put my fence in. I'd jump in and be like, and nothing against that. I love Axel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then for whatever reason, it was like, nah, I liked this better.
Style or whatever.
Style.
Yeah.
So with browsers before, back in the day, was Brando. So me and Brando were friends, and so then Vegas, then we started going to Vegas. This is when me and Kieran kind of came up.
How hard was it for you to come back? Like you said, there was moments of time, there was an 8-year span. Why did you decide to leave the business? And then why did you come back?
So I had a bunch of kids, and was married, and I don't want to, life's hard, man. It's a hard hustle out there, which I don't mind. I've dug ditches. That's what I did for those 8 years, was just construction, and made a good wage, 100, some years like 120, like nothing for somebody that never went to high school. I left the house at 14, so it's good money. You can make good money with your hands. You just gotta, you gotta hustle.
Do the work.
And, that's 70, 80 hours a week. But I had a plumbing company, sold it, was getting, a monthly check that it was paying bills, but not much more. And anytime there was ever a fight, it was always, why don't you go back to porn? Why don't,
Was it because of like the money aspect, or is it because of the jealousy of like, oh, if you don't like this, then go fuck everybody else?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it was both, because, money was always, and I'm talking on like, in the toxic relationship I was in, I was always a whore.
This is because of your past, not because what you were currently doing, or
Yeah,
were you
no,
still out
like,
doing things?
8 years, man. I was married. I never cheated. I just, like, I kind of
You
felt
were
like
ready. I mean, I feel like you're a very like wholesome person, where you said like if you're digging ditches or doing whatever, if as long as like you're
come
happy
home,
and have a
my
thing,
kids,
then,
we got to train. Like, I was content. It didn't bother me. And then, that would always be thrown in my face. And I thought we were in a time in our relationship where it was like, well, fuck, it's business for me. You know what I mean? I can differentiate the two. And, I was straight up with her. I was like, look, if you agree to this, it's going to put us
in a better place.
Yeah, and it's going to take a gap. You know what I mean? You're basically cutting like a decade off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is actually my daughter. Hold on one second. Hey, baby. Yes, I would prefer that, actually. All right. But you're still sparring today. We'll be done at 6:30, and then I can go pick her up. Oh, yeah, she can come. Yeah, she can come with. I'll pick both you up. All right. Okay, baby. Okay, baby. All right, love you. Ooh, that's good news. My daughter did. So I don't let my kids stay the night at anybody's house. I'm like it's a problem.
Yeah.
I'm overly protective of them. And tonight, she was supposed to do her first sleepover, and I've been dreading it.
And that something happens, she can't.
Well, I've been having a hard time telling her no. Now the other little girl wants to come stay at our house.
Oh, the fun house. See, it works out.
Yeah.
I can get it.
I'm sorry. Where were we?
All right. So you're talking about how you were saying we're at a point where you were like, it could get us into a better place financially. So if you agree to this, whatever, like you thought you were in a partner relationship, that you could like sustain something like that if that was
I thought we were having an adult conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look, I get it. You're renting me out. This is how you have to look at it, but you're getting a value back, more so than even me, because you're the stay-at-home wife. I'm just going to take the money in, and here it goes. It doesn't come to me first.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking driving around in Porsches and
So did she agree to it at first and then kind of like go back on?
So she agreed to it. I go on a fucking plane, right? Now, my name's on the line. Again, this was for browsers. This was a scene.
This is the first time, or you'd already worked with them?
Yeah, no, I'd already worked with them. So it was a very, like,
But it's a comeback. And remember, to have that long of a time.
Yeah, but like the comeback was like, hey, what's up, man? If I wanted to shoot, what's it look like? Boom, send over a contract. This is what we want. This was this. So okay, cool, that's done. So the allocated monthly, I knew right what I was getting into. So I get on a plane, and if I fuck that up,
all of this goes away.
then I become just another $500 a day guy, which I'm not gonna do. You know, I could go dig a ditch.
You've done your work.
Yeah, like, so I get there, and it was with I don't know if I should say names, but Kissa. It was with Kissa, and it was in Vegas, and it was fucking stressful. It was like mentally,
because you have like back home problems, or just because
that's been the last that's been since I've been back. I'm just now getting in a good place. Like but no, I get off the fucking plane, and she was like, "I can't believe you did it. I thought you wouldn't be. I thought you would fail. I thought you would fucking fail." I'm like,
I don't.
Yeah,
I'm gonna show.
fucking my batting average is fucking better than you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not putting that on the fucking line. Like I can
For sure,
do.
it's your name, your reputation. Like you didn't come back to be like I'm a fail. Like I'm like washed up and didn't do anything. And again, it's your family. You're in a situation. Not that you couldn't have been sustained in a financial thing, but it's also something that you are good at. And if it's X amount of certain time. Month, like I said, most people back then, we didn't have our schedule, so you didn't know if you could get 30 days or whatever. So it's like if they're giving you something, a quota
guaranteed
per month,
money.
How do you not show up and deliver? But that's the tricky part. I feel like what comes to relationships, in our business, but also being married to someone who is not in the industry, who may not understand what those things emotionally can do. Because I also was in a relationship and married in the business. So our problems had nothing to do with the porn part, because we knew in the beginning when we got together, it was communication. So if we didn't like something, be vocal about it. If you have a good day at work, have a good day at work. If you have a bad day, talk about it, but I don't want to over embellish on certain things. Like I know what we're doing or signing up for. But when it came, it was other things. But I feel like in what I've seen when people either talk about it on the couch or just friends out there, it's like, it's in the beginning, it's always good because if it's either the lifestyle, the money, what you think maybe you could be okay with, and then it starts to eat at you because your self-worth either goes because you're in a different place, and all these other factors is why it's interesting.
I get it because I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I can't share.
Yeah.
Like if you're mine, no, if the role was completely reversed and I just got to stay home with my kids, like that would be a decision that.
But even then, I don't think that you could.
Look, I'm not a kept person. I've had that option to be kept, given an allowance, and it sounds nice.
But but you're a worker. You like to do stuff. You like to feel like you're doing.
Provide.
Like
that's
exactly.
the man.
Like, that's what
men should provide. That's the way I was raised, and that's why I left young. I didn't leave the house,
but I think that shows a lot of integrity. Where most people would be like, "Sure, go make your money, go fuck, go do whatever." You know what I mean? Where it's like it's a balance. You know what I mean? Where does everybody want to be taken care of in some aspects? Of course, but it's like within reasons and like boundaries of real relationships.
I'll take that a boy. You know what I mean? That's
so I feel like it's. So how long were y'all still together when you came back to doing the porn? You said the last 3 years. Obviously, you guys have kids, so there's co-parenting things involved. But did y'all stay together for a little while after, or was it immediate breakup, or was it?
It's been hell on earth.
Okay.
For basically since then, and right now I'm in a good place. Like I have full custody of my kids.
Yeah.
That's my life, and the one unapologetic thing is I am a whore. Like I take a vig to show up and fuck who they tell me to fuck. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it affords me affords me the time to be around my kids all day, every day.
And do your own schedule.
Yeah, I get to drop them off at school. I get to pick them up. I get to go, oh, they have this that day. Okay, no, sorry guys, I can't shoot that day. Let's read.
I mean, it gives you financial independence and freedom. And I feel like,
now is more valuable to me than anything, because I can never get this back. They're just babies, you know what I mean? So, and the invested time I can put into them now is worth dividends than if I was digging ditches and I gotta work 80
hours. So it takes away from like them picking them up or being there for their events or things like that. And and I think a lot of people don't realize that goes by so quickly. I mean, not even being like a mother, I was talking about earlier, it's like I'm the auntie, whatever, but it's like, even then it's like, 2 years and they're like mine's already about to be out of their senior year, and it's like, where did the time go? Like, I didn't get to see as many games or whatever, but I'm not the parent, but it's still, it's like it takes the toll of the opposite when you are the parent and you still have the same, schedule. So with that being said, you said you're in a good place right now, which I think that is really great and beautiful thing because you have, kids, and that's the most important thing as long as they're taken care of. And you seem like you have a good take on that, regardless if she's a part of it or not. But what about dating? With your schedule and your kids, do you even try to attempt to date, or have you been so burned because of your ex that you don't even, are you not
It's
healed
not that
enough
I
to be
miss
there?
because I'm lonely. I do. I miss the companionship. I do miss that. I love to cuddle.
Mm-hmm.
I love, holding hands. I like going for walks. I like all those things. But I'm not gonna take away from my children because I fucked up. No,
Okay.
regardless, I picked that partner to have children with. I'm already playing the game from behind, so I'm not gonna add more shit to it unless it truly
It's
adds
like a
value.
magical type thing that happens.
And it's not just for me because I'm right now I'm fifth in line.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This is where I think a lot of parents and people fuck up is like, well, if you have one kid, you're second, bro.
Mm-hmm.
If you have three, you're fourth. This is just, and I've been in the situation where I have to have this conversation with a female, and
It's a lot.
and I say, hey, and I try and be nice about it, but you're never gonna be my first priority. And I say that in the nicest way, but my kids will always come first. Whatever the best decision is that leads them, at least until they're 18. You know what I mean?
sure.
When they're adults.
But I think it's an adult thing, and I think also, or it speaks like evolving as people, right? Things change, what wants and needs change. So I feel like you being with someone like that has to be okay with those things, or it doesn't fit in your lifestyle.
Yeah, so
and
why
that's
would I
again,
want
it's like, again, being upfront. You're asking for what you want. If they can't deliver, then
So
you know what I mean?
dating's been tough. Like,
So you work a lot.
and
You work a lot.
no, not, I'm in this, like, it's a very weird, because when I work, it does not feel like the satisfaction.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I merely went back to work because I've been single for quite a long time, but I wasn't getting fucked. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get fucked because whatever. But are you one of those people that consider work sex at all? Like, if that was what it is? Because
Look,
I
if
have
I was-
girlfriends that are doing that, they're like, well, that doesn't count because it's work sex.
Yeah, so
And I only now understand that because it's like, it is fun, but it also doesn't scratch the itch of like
No,
the companionship of what you want in your personal life and not for a work life.
So if I was to rank it, right? So if you were, say, to fuck at home, to jerk off. Now, this is on the guy side, because I get it's different for females. Females, there's no gauge or lever, right? You can, if I was a chick and I was just getting banged out, you understand what I'm saying?
To a degree, but I'm not a chick that just lays there and gets banged out. I gotta fuck back, or I'm not
But
getting
if you come 6 times, that doesn't affect your batting average or your pay.
Yeah, I'm still gonna be
You know
ready
what I
to
mean?
go.
So I can't.
Until I have to tap out.
Yeah, I can't enjoy it too much.
Got it. So you can't be like super overzealous, because it's like, then again, either it's gonna stop.
So there's a performance. So pick them. I have sex at home, sex on set, or jerking off. Right? These are the best way I can.
Are you gonna pick jerking off?
Well, let's go best. Right? Is
Okay.
obviously fucking at home.
Okay.
Right? I don't jerk off. I don't jerk off at home. I'm just like.
When's the last time you jerked off?
Most of the time, if I do it, it's like a game.
Do you feel like you're cheating when you're like
no,
jerking
it's like
off?
why
Because
the
it's
fuck-
like your own
Man,
time. You're like, I could have got paid.
The first
for
time
this.
I ever came was with a girl, right?
Okay.
So, and then I went home, and obviously I was little, I was young.
Obviously, no, that's not an obvious thing. Who knows what? What? Obvious
I mean, I was a kid, and she took me
like
to the.
14, 15.
I was 12 years old. She
Okay.
took me to the orange groves and jerked me off. I didn't even know.
What? Like,
So she jerks me off, and then we're walking home, and she's like, ew, you got it all over my sweater. And I'm like, what? I didn't even know.
that you came. Like, what
When
was?
we watched a porn when I was like, we found a porn and we put it in, and we saw the pop shot, and we all had our guess of like what the fuck it was.
What it was? What was your guess?
Well, our conclusion was that that's what they do to not get the girl pregnant, which I guess in a sense we were partially right. But in my
What
mind,
was
it was
your
like,
guess?
that's what I thought it was, like something you put in that then
You're like, it's glue.
that like, yeah,
It
that,
looks
that when you were done fucking him, you were like, okay, get it out.
Okay.
And then so she doesn't get pregnant.
So did people talk to you or your parents talk to you about like what
No.
were they like masturbating is bad? Because some people grow up and they're just like, don't touch it. It's like
No,
whatever kind of thing.
never
It's like,
had
and
a
then they have to like,
conversation about it
some
at
people just figure it out themselves with their friends or
No, never played with my friend. No. So this
not
girl,
played with your friends, but you said you're talking about with your friends with 10 other people asking, like figuring out what it is.
yeah, but
watching a
that was
porn.
cousins. We were like I would say we were probably like 10
No one
years
says
old.
you're circle jerking, Scott.
Yeah, no, not circle jerking.
That was when the blow bang. Not
yeah, that
the
was
circle
later.
jerk.
That's definitely all the weird shit I've done has been at work. Yeah, like I'm very vanilla.
So did you ever have anybody that you looked up to coming into the business? Maybe you didn't watch porn, but like maybe that was a mentor to you, like how your like business kind of came in line?
You know, I would watch other, you know, like the anabolic diabolic days, like you said, professional athletes.
Who were those days? Like, because I
John
didn't
Strong,
okay.
still around. Was probably like one of the guys I would say I
Okay.
looked up to, and I was like, all right, that guy's business.
He was definitely a business fucker. Like he was very mechanical. It was always strange to me. He didn't have the biggest size dick, but like he always made me sore because he would open up so much that he'd fuck
That's
you
it.
like sideways because everyone would just see it. That I was like, ow! But I could take.
Business. That's because he's good. He's a performer. So
And he was also very like he'd smell your hair. He's very like
I
pheromones.
don't
Like
know about that shit.
well, to me, I feel it's more of like how you said like about the woman. It's like it's not like he's just like, hey, fuck me, like caveman style. Some people just want you to be like ready and you're a wet hole. He would like take the time to be
That
like
goes to the personality. That
exactly.
goes to
Or
the
it's like
juggle.
if
It
I was
all
like
comes into play.
I could be a little sore if John Strong was going to be on. But I didn't care about not doing it. I feel like one point you were like my porno boyfriend for a while. I saw you a lot, but I feel like you probably hear that a lot because you just work a lot. So
No, it's weird. You definitely get in. I think it's because when you have good chemistry, people then see that and then they want to rebook that.
you're
Right?
trying
They
to say
want
we
to
have good chemistry.
recreate it. I didn't say that. You said that.
I said we were my porno boyfriend, and you said the chemistry part.
Well, that's yeah.
You're speechless.
I
Never that. You're
Try-
stumbling your words. You don't even.
your ass keeps flashing in these Rolodexes I have in my head.
So I'm part of the Rolodex. Did I ever
Um,
make you tap out by sitting on your face?
I don't know. You mean like you can't breathe tap out?
Yeah.
No.
So you can hold your breath.
Yeah.
What the roll the tapes? I don't know. I feel like they're
Yeah.
maybe.
Where am I ashing this?
Can you give me that gold plate? Gold plate. All right. I like where this is going. Do you think that what is your exit strategy? Do you have one? Because you can't fuck forever. You've been how long has how many years have you put in like total at this point?
I have no idea.
You started when you were 18. How old are you now?
What the fuck?
You're not a woman. You can't say your age.
I'm 42 years old.
Okay, embrace your age. You know,
I'm old, man.
It's okay. You're still out there. That's what I'm saying.
It's so fucked
You're
up.
fucking
It's
18-year-olds.
so fucked up when we do I know when we do the boundary checklist, you know what I mean? And you say your age, and it's like girls will be like 22, 23. 20,
Okay, can we go through a boundary checklist? What is that? Okay, so for me, at the time, like I never shot a lot for browsers because in the beginning they were more big titty or like highly anal stuff.
They do such a good job.
I did only limited things. So I don't, and then now I took a hiatus and I've only worked for myself. So I don't know now that I know that there's
would
a
recommend it.
liaison of
Trying
things.
it at least once.
But why I say this is walk us through of like, if we were to be on set together.
Okay.
And it, like, cause before it was like, we went through our no list.
You want me from my
right?
perspective or like the PC, like outside?
Isn't it like a,
Oh, just
like-
the boundary?
yeah,
So
like what are they
basically
asking
we sit on the couch like this, and you know, there's probably 30 questions.
Okay.
Is this the first time you've worked with your scene partner? What do you want to be called?
Okay.
Which today I guess is an important question.
Okay. Is that because of based off of how they identify or like
Yeah,
a
like-
whore, slut, bitch?
That too.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's a question too. Like, what names can you be called? What's where can I slap you? Where can I pull your hair?
So
Can
it's very detailed.
very detailed.
Okay.
Can I kiss you? Can I, you know, from the vanilla to the
Extreme.
extreme.
Okay. I asked because a lot of people haven't been on a set. We have been on numerous, but again, the only checklist that we ever used to go through that I had personally through was in Bang Bros when you do like an entry and exit thing. If like you had fun, did anybody do anything,
Yeah.
and those things. But I've had people now saying like
So
that
back in the day when me and you would, before a scene, we would kind of like step
go through
aside
what our
and be
things
like,
were.
hey, like, you know, what,
Common courtesy. Like,
yeah.
what are your do's and don'ts?
Instead of it being awkward and like maybe you don't want to tell me that you don't want to eat my ass,
Yeah.
you know, then it's just a generic filled out before. And
So this is my thing, right? Which I love that there are things like this in place. But also me being the person that I'm very vocal about whatever thing. And I also been in the business from when I first started and knowing like what I can and cannot say and also growing a voice and knowing what those things are. But like, isn't it crazy to think that I'm going to let you fuck me, but I don't feel comfortable enough to tell you that I don't want to eat your ass?
you know,
So for me, is like some of these
but-
people that I think that it's important to have someone be a mediator because maybe you don't know how to have your voice set or those things. But I feel like at this point too is we have to be accountable for us as sex workers. Like we should have a voice for ourselves and know what we want and what we don't want.
100%.
And where it's like when there's no gray area and there's not whatever. So I just think that we never had these things before. So it's almost not that it's funny in a bad way. It's just like you said, we would have a conversation
I
off to
think
the
it's
side.
great for the females because
I think for the young females because
yeah, they get
and
and there's lights and there's 8 people in the room.
but
and
for me as a female too is I also was like you have to know what you're getting into, and it's like I signed up to do porn. No one's. I mean, those things aren't ever going away.
But that also doesn't mean that you have to have a cream pie if you don't.
No,
or
but that's
you
why
get
your
a facial.
agent and those things for me, like in our days, those checklists happen with our agents, so we weren't signed
But
up
all
for those
agents
things.
aren't created equal.
And that's why
You know
the
what I mean?
evolution
So
of
some
the
agents are
business.
like, oh, I get an extra. You get an extra $100. Yeah, she'll do it.
And that's
then
why
the
I
girls
feel like
there are
because there's the gray area, so I feel like that is good for those things to have. It's crazy to me that that's where it had to go because it should be an open exchange where I'm giving you my body, that we should be able to talk about what that
We
is for each
definitely
other.
should.
But we're in this age of like where there has to be these protocols because some people stepped the line or some people went too far.
But we
or
all
some
know the
people
stories,
do those
right?
things. Do we all know the stories? Let's talk about
Oh,
it.
I don't want to talk about it. I mean, you've heard of the bad situations that have happened. You know, we've all seen people get canceled or, you know, I stay off. I'm not big on the.
I stay off those things too. Like, do I know those things happen? But I think that again, it comes from how things have evolved. We also went through a Me Too movement. We went through a thing
Survived
where it was
it.
like,
I made it.
all those things. Yeah, it's okay. Because you're honest. You know what I mean? I think also too, but you're
But
also
that's
highly
dangerous.
aware.
It's dangerous because sometimes
It
I'll
works
say
against your
something
favor.
and it could be
And
taken
I've
out
heard
of
that too
concept.
from guy friends.
Yeah. So I
and-
shut the fuck up. Try to.
And that's where I think takes the authenticity of like who you are, like why I like to talk to people on the couch is like to getting to know all of you, because also Scott Nails isn't who you are fucking these people all the time. You also have a life. You also have a personality. You're funny, open, things, but it's like you also nowadays have to walk your tightrope in more ways than one.
It's very tight.
What are your thoughts on, being in business for as long as you have, where it's like where it was before until like now the OnlyFans ages and like all these like contract
Great for the
men.
females. Great for the females. I mean, the money's gone to to a side.
So is it not great for you?
Well, it's not. Back in the day, I could make more. I would make more than most of the girls.
Okay.
Because of volume, right?
Okay.
Because say a girl is getting like simple numbers, $1,000 a scene. How many days a month is she really working? Now, back then, I might have been getting like 700-800 a
So you're
scene,
working
right?
30 scenes a month.
Pretty much. I've always kind of held par with the girls. Rate wise, I think the top guys, that's kind of how it equates. But yeah, I could work 30-35 scenes a month.
What's the most number of scenes you've worked in your career
So
in a month?
every year, like we were talking about how old I am, right? So obviously, you think about these things. John Strong is why I still
he
look
still
up. He's
shooting?
still active. You know
Really?
what
I
I mean?
haven't seen that
And
man in forever.
He's still active.
Okay,
he
love that.
shoots more than I do. Okay.
Wow, okay.
So What was the question?
Number of scenes you've done in a month. Your
Oh,
entire
so
career.
when I turned 40, I did 25 scenes that month just to prove that I could,
Okay.
you know.
Do you doubt yourself that every year you get that you can't do as many?
No, I just check in.
Okay.
So,
Does your load get less every time?
no, because to me, I'm becoming more educated. So I know my body better. I know what to eat. I know what to
It's funny
take.
how that works.
Yeah.
You really have
Because back then I didn't do any of it. I just
did
drank
it, yeah.
Marble Reds and
had a horrible tasting cum. You didn't give a fuck what anybody was doing.
fuck, as long as that motherfucker was working, I was getting checked.
Okay, so that was 25 to check in. What's the most you've done in your career, Perlin?
Most I've gotten paid for in a day is 5.
No, in the month.
Oh, in a month?
Like your whole career. Like, do you have like a? You said at
I
first you
mean,
were doing 30
probably,
at one time.
yeah.
You do two
I
a
would
day
say the
sometimes.
most I've done in a month paid was probably like maybe just under 50, like 48.
Putting in work.
Yeah, some double
Putting in work.
days.
Okay. So if somebody who was wanting to be freshly new into the business, they're 18, 19, what advice would you have for them coming into an industry like this?
You better truly know your dick. You better truly know like how it performs. Anything you do at home is unstressed. It'd be like going to the gym and only hitting a heavy bag and never sparring and then taking on a fight to do that. So my advice today would be, it's tough because you get this OF side of it, but it's totally different. Even with the females, like we'll get these OF girls that come over and on set performing is entirely different than how you fuck at home. It's entirely different than how you fuck on OF. Opening up, the amount of weight that is on your shoulders as a guy. So I would just say, have a game plan, have a backup game plan when shit don't work. Know where you're gonna go mentally. Make sure that if you are gonna book a scene, be comfortable. Have a little bit of know what's gonna happen. At least ask questions like, what does the day look like? So when you get there, you know, when do you want my dick hard? What does today look like? How, you know what I mean?
Okay.
See a lot of guys jump in and then they're already, you know, and we could be here all fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Game plan. So you shouldn't have a porn star 101, male porn star 101. You know, you can have a tutorial. You can.
I've been hitting, you know, guys hit me up and I give them the advice I can give them, and that's what most people. They're like, I want to be a porn star. Well, do you have a game plan of anything? How to what do you do in this situation? You know, what do you do in this situation? What do you do if it stops? All of a sudden your dick's in the stop line, you know, in the middle of it. These are all things you got to dry run through your head. And then if you do, you have built your confidence, and then there you can perform.
Get that performance up. Is there anybody that you've been in the business for a long time that you have not had sex with that you wish that you would?
People ask me this all the time. But
does anybody like go through, like there's times when people kind of like
porn, so it's
but you see girls at the Exoticas, you see girls at like whatever. Obviously every Brazzers girls you're gonna have to like fuck because you're contracted, so you're running through all them. You know, is there nobody?
I mean,
Even old school like collection. Let's talk about like, you know, the diamond collection of sorts.
Name them, and I don't know if I've worked. To be honest, I'm bad with names, better with faces.
Are you though? I mean, I feel the same way though, because I feel like names are really bad, and then people will be like, "I've had sex with you." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't
in the
remember."
boundary checklist.
Like,
in the boundary checklist, it's like, "Have you had sex with your sleep partner?" I've learned to shut the fuck up because I've been like,
no, and
yeah, and then she's like,
yes,
"You don't
have."
Yeah, I'm like, oh, fuck, this is
I'd
awkward.
be mad if you did that to me. But you would know. You know, I leave my mark. I suffocated you. You just don't admit that I made you.
But you can't say that because then you're saying talking shit about that girl before, like.
You know, for me, this is my own conversation, and this is what I do, and this is why I also have been like, I stay in my own lane. I appreciate what the business is and what it's done for me.
When was the last time you performed?
When I did I've only done my own OnlyFans thing. So I did one with Dredd, and then I released one with Johnny Sins, and then I haven't done anything else. I've just been doing me. Just been podcasting. I think for me, it's more about like, again, it was like the reasonings of me coming back was more of I was just wanting to get laid and having fun and profit off it and those things. But it's also learning like how the business has changed so much and like where does that fit in for me is because I also never want to sell out of who I am and deduce anything for what that doesn't feel good.
Mm.
So for me, it's about like learning what works for me and who I wanted to fuck that I didn't get to fuck, or do things from on my own way, and kind of like figuring out what that looks like. So I've only done 2 scenes, and that's how I've reached it so far. But we'll see where that goes. Who knows? Who knows? All right, I have a couple of questions to ask you, the truth or Texas. I feel like we went all over the board and we kind of like, caught up, and I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. But we're gonna do kinky, spicy, romantic, and naughty.
Okay.
Would you consider yourself a romantic? You said you like to cuddle. You said you like to hold
Just had
hands
this
and like
conversation the other
walk.
day, and yes, apparently I am. I don't know.
Apparently, you can't be like talked into it. You either feel like you are like, are you someone who does romantic things for their partner that are thoughtful, or you just expect it to be done for you?
No. Like I'm not like, I might grab flowers, but I don't like commercialism. I'm not like dead set on like
Yeah,
Valentine's
but it's like
Day.
a Monday, you're gonna give flowers, and
Yeah.
like you're gonna be,
Or, I'm always be thoughtful.
okay.
Like,
So you're a romantic.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
It's okay. So it's okay to be romantic. Favorite part of the woman's body?
Ooh,
You say that you have to be like unbiased, but do you have a favorite?
I love women. Like,
Okay.
some girls you see their ass, some girls it's the titties, some
So it's all
face.
individual?
Yes.
But what is your favorite?
I'm
If you were out by
ass and
yourself,
titties.
like, in an island somewhere, and
Probably titties. I say titties. I like natural titties.
natural titties. Okay. Deal breakers in a relationship. What is something that is completely off limits that you were just can't deal with it?
Oh, like I don't know. I'm pretty easy.
That's not true. I could already say one for you.
What's the
You
one?
said you don't like to share.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, that's a deal
I
breaker.
wouldn't. Yeah,
So
that's
it's
a
like you
deal
did
breaker.
anything
Yeah.
extracurricular. You're like,
That's
I'm so easy. Stop lying to the people.
well, you said it really. Yeah. So
But
yeah.
that is, I mean,
I
that's a
wouldn't
deal
share. I
breaker.
don't like to share. Yeah, I'm selfish.
Monogamy. All right, naughty questions. Do you like dirty talk? Being that you are Scott Nails, you fuck a lot of girls, does that do anything for you anymore, like the dirty talk of
If
it
it's
all?
genuine, because especially performing, we get in. When
have
I'm
like
fucking
a
this girl, I'm not in my head when she's talking. I'm like, oh, this is all me. It's not all me. It's the camera's there too.
okay.
So on set, it's hard to like, is this real? Right? It's not for me to question. So if at home, I don't want you doing it just to like,
Appease you.
yeah, I want you to do it
But if
because,
she does it and she's talking, whatever, even if she's trying, like is it excite you?
yeah, if it's genuine and
Okay.
you know what I mean.
I've had people with me that because I'm generally a dirty talker, and they'll be like, why are you being porno? I'm like, I just talked like
This is
this
just
is
how
why
I am.
I'm a porno
Yeah.
person. Like, you're welcome. Thank you. Have you ever paid for sex?
Uh,
What's the
if
truth?
you would have asked me this question a year ago, I would have said no, never.
Okay, so you recently paid for sex.
I was super excited. I went to Mexico and I was like, before I went, I'm like, oh, I'm going to I don't go to strip clubs. It's
Okay.
just like I just
So did you
don't
go to a
go.
brothel, or did you find this person you paid
We
for
went to a
sex?
strip club. It was awkward. It was just like it wasn't one. I always had this vision, like I want to go get a massage and get a
Okay.
happy ending.
Me too, but they don't do that for us.
I want to do it, but I don't know if there's like a secret like, you know what I mean? Like,
I have some friends, I'll tell them to take you. There's a lot. Men is so
but I
unbiased.
want to do it different. So I want to just lay there. This is the fantasy that I have in my head. Like I get my massage and then she goes and jerks me off and I'm just going to not come. I'm just going to see how long
So how
she'll do
long?
it.
What if she's like, it's okay, sir, and then she's just done? After 20 minutes, she's gonna be tired.
So this is my fantasy. Is
Okay.
that girl gets too tired, right? Her hand gets too tired and she leaves and then she gets like this old lady that's been jerking dicks for like fucking 50 years. And then I was like, oh, hell no, this is never going to work. And then she comes up and she makes me come in like 12 seconds.
You want
That's
the
my-
old lady come.
So that was the
You want
fantasy.
an old lady sex worker to make you come.
Yeah, that was my fantasy in my head in Mexico. It didn't pan out like that.
Was it the donkey lady? Who did she pay?
No, so I'm at the strip club and then these girls, they come up and they whatever and dance, and they're like,
Okay.
oh, do you want to go in the back? And then so one of the girls, I was like, yeah. And we go and it's just like an aisle of stalls of like concrete like
Oh,
this,
okay.
and then a stool, and she sits on there and gives you hand job, whatever you want,
Okay.
right? So I wasn't like fully committed, like I'm not trying to get laid. I just wanted to like
Have a fun.
experience.
Yeah.
It was for me. It wasn't even like the satisfaction of like sexual, like
You just
coming.
wanted your dick to go see other adventures. Like
I just wanted to
you
like
need a poke.
maybe put something in the Rolodex. You know what I mean? It didn't work out that way.
So why was she sitting on the stool and not you?
Because I was standing.
Oh, because she's giving you a handy.
Yeah, but then I just felt bad.
Oh, so you got limp?
No. Because
You
then
just were like, honey, it's okay. Let's
yeah,
go back
like
out there.
I
Where in Mexico? What part of Mexico? Like Tijuana,
this
Mexico?
was in Puerto Penasco.
I don't
That's
know
a
what
Rocky
that is.
Point.
Okay.
Mexico.
So is that like better looking girls, worse? Do they do anything? Does it matter? Or is like in those places you just anything goes?
It wasn't. I wouldn't.
So you have paid for sex. Like you got it tugged on, but nothing that like
That's it. That's
you
the only
ejaculated.
time.
Okay. I like that story though. Because I also feel like, don't you feel like you're always the one being used for sex? You gotta like establish it for
I don't
me.
give a fuck.
Well,
My
I
dick
know
pays
you
the rent.
don't.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. But as far as like the experiment value of like, if that was your fantasy, like, you gotta try it out.
Like
Because you're open to.
I'm okay with like if let's say a girl's like, hey, I want to pay you to fuck me. Okay, that can turn me on.
Okay.
Right? But when I'm paying for it,
Has that happened a lot where girls pay you outside the industry to fuck you?
they've tried, but
You never said yes. You said your dick
No.
pays the rent. What
the
crosses the
thing
line?
is because most of the time I get approached, I'm in like fuck you mode, like I'm drinking,
like you're drinking, having
and-
fun.
Yeah,
You get
and-
recognized a lot.
Not really.
No.
I mean, it's always like I get the
The stare, like
Yeah.
I kind of know who you are. You look familiar.
yeah, but
you know,
understand that most dudes are jerking off, and
you're talking to me.
and they're not, they're not. So it's like I know that guy from somewhere, but it doesn't go
Register.
Register.
Well, the thing is, they're jerking off to me too, and they're just like, "Is she just a pretty girl, or do I know
Do
her?"
know
and then
her.
then the girlfriend's probably like, "Why the fuck are you looking at her so long? Do you know her?" I've gotten all kinds of those.
I have been like the weird part is, for whatever reason, every time I'm with my mom, I get somebody coming up asking for a picture and shit, and I always embarrass the fuck out of them. And my mom's like,
How does your
totally
mom
fine.
feel about you being this cock star that you are? Does she like address it? Because mine just acts like it
We
doesn't
just
really exist.
That's why.
Like,
She's
I'm
like,
happy for you, but I'm not gonna talk about it.
yeah, we don't talk. We talk a
Okay,
little
but
bit
those
about
situations
it.
where it's like if they're coming up to you, is like, does she feel weird? Does she say like,
She's like,
she
why?
doesn't-
It's hilarious because she'll be like, she has like a weird look on her face because
Uh-huh.
she literally writes it off, whatever. And she'll be like, oh, who's this? And I'll be like, this guy just jerks off a lot, man. Don't worry about it. And the guy's like, yeah, you gotta take a picture. Who the fuck?
Yeah, running along because you gotta be nice to pay the bills, but it's time and place. For me, it was
That's
like,
how it is.
it's like, come on now, like
Nobody's ever approached me with my kids, thank
Yeah.
God. which
I've
would
had that
piss me
happen to
off,
like
but-
my stepson. That was just like, come on, like I'm not gonna like really address like
And
even
you can do
word
it in
those
a-
things in a nice way, but it's like
They
come on.
do it on an over the top way, like in front of the wrong people. Like you can come up and be like, "Hey, I appreciate you."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And hey, can I get a picture? Yeah, no problem. You say just that, like that nonchalantly, and then I can do it.
maneuver into whatever
And
way
then
that you want to
go
like.
to the people that I'm with and be like, "Oh, it's a friend of mine." You know what I mean? Or a friend of a friend. I ain't seen him in a while. Whatever.
Do you get? I feel like men, it's more like, oh, it's cool you fuck porn stars, and then like with like female porn stars, it's always like, you fuck porn
You
stars.
suck dick for money.
Like it's like,
Yeah.
aren't we all whores?
We're all whores. Act accordingly. You know.
Have you or do you? You're not even, you're single. So it's like, do you have any celebrity women sliding into your DMs trying to
No.
get some? Have you ever?
Celebrities. Not like A-list celebrities. I mean, maybe known people.
The C list?
Yeah, maybe the D's. I got a couple D's in there.
You do like double D's. You
Mm.
said big titties, All right, last question, kinky question. Has there ever been somebody too kinky for you? You are in porn, you have, people deal with a lot if they're not in the porn, being in business. Has there been someone that you're just like, bitch, you just can't do all that?
Off camera?
Yeah.
I mean, definitely had some fucking. I've been in some fucks. I always get in these fuck situations, like where I'm like, how the fuck did I had this one? So back in the day, right? Those big budget digital
Okay.
playground sets. There was a wardrobe girl, and she was a yoga instructor.
It's always the ones who do work for the porn that are like the
the civilians.
freakiest that
Yeah,
you're just like.
but like they're the civilians on set that like I had like 8 girls. I could have fucked any one of them at any time I want, but I can't have this one, so I'm like always fucking with her. Right, always fucking with
You
her.
want what you can't have.
Yeah, for like a year I'm fucking with this
You
chick.
fucked her.
Listen, so one time she calls me and she's like, "Hey, you want to go out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, let's go out." So she didn't drink, she didn't do nothing. So I took her out like on a proper date. We like, I forget what we did, something, whatever.
So romantic of you. See the romantic side coming out. Proper date.
So we're in Hollywood, and then she goes, "Oh, you want to come back to my place?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah," you know what I mean? So we go into her bedroom, and we're kissing, and it's getting a little hot. And she goes, "Oh, just a minute, let me get ready." And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" So, and she was banging, like body was tight. She was a very pretty
Big
girl.
titties.
Huh?
Big titties, natural titties.
She had like nice tight
Okay.
titties. I'm probably
This
whatever.
isn't the Rolodex.
No, this is in the Autodex.
Oh,
this is the one
it
in
gets
the.
worse.
So we're in the bedroom's here, and it's in like a little Hollywood. Fucking Marilyn Monroe used to live there. These little like bungalow fucking things.
Okay.
So you could see from the bedroom, there's just like a closet on the other side. And, it's the closet you just open up and it's like a walk-in, but it's really not. It's just like one quick box, right? So kissing. She goes, "Oh, honey, you ready?" And she goes, walks.
You have like a secret chamber.
And she even opens the door to the fucking closet and then looks back at me like, "Get ready, motherfucker." So I'm sitting there patiently waiting, and it's a fucking long time. Like,
She put on a whole costume.
I'm sitting there for like 6 minutes. Like I'm like, I don't know what to
Are you
do.
naked? Are you jerking off?
Well,
What?
so she had started like grabbing my dick
Okay.
before she went in. So in the 6 minutes, I'm like, should I like take my shit off? And it was so awkward that how I ended up, I don't know why, but I basically undid my pants, left my underwear on, and just put them on my ankles and sat on the edge of the bed, right? I was like, okay, that's what I settled with.
Okay.
But I'm sitting there trying to figure out what the fuck this chick's doing in this closet. And then like 6 minutes later, she opens the closet, walks straight from the door, comes right over and like, "Give me this is your hand,"
Oh.
and just starts tugging.
Was she wearing something cute? Nothing? She was just nervous and just came out?
She came out dressed exactly the same way as she went in. So when she came out and she aggressively grabbed my dick, I couldn't get, I was just trying to figure out what the fuck she was doing
Did
in
you
the
say
closet.
ow?
No, so then I'm like, what the fuck was she? I couldn't get it out of my head. What the
Mm.
fuck was she doing in the closet? Then I'm looking at her and I'm like, this is odd. Like this bitch is gonna kill me, right? And obviously it didn't feel good. She's like being super aggressive. And so this is how I'm telling my dick. I'm
No
like,
lube.
no lube. I'm like, you need to come right now. We need to get the fuck out of here. And this is where performance comes in. I fucking focused. I was like, you need to get the fuck out of here. 2 minutes, I popped. I got the fuck out of there.
You're
I was
so
like
good.
closing the door of that house, and I was like, what the fuck? Just
That's
hand jobs.
weird.
I always getting the weirdest. It just happened to me like
See hand jobs out these days.
it just happened to me like a month ago. I had another
Someone who's not in the
awkward
business giving handies.
dude. So
I get approached by like middle-aged women a lot. They'll be like, yeah,
I go
like,
out with my sister. This is my little sister, and
Don't cry. It's all right.
sorry, I'm
okay.
getting emotional. I go out with my little sister, and she has a place here in some fucking Hollywood or whatever. And we got drinking, and I was late. I didn't get off set till like 1, so I was only there for like 30 minutes. I think I had 2 beers.
Prime time for drunk girls to be like, who is going to
Well, no, so we go back to her house, and then she had a friend over, and I was leaving. I was heading back, and I'm like, she was, oh, I gotta go. I'm gonna call Uber. I'm like, well, I could drop you on the way home if you want. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And this girl's been friends with my sisters for like a decade, right? or 8 years or some shit. So we get to her house and she's like, redirects me. So I'm always an idiot, right? Like, cause I was truly just trying to save you
Somebody
40
should've-
bucks or
yeah.
whatever. So I'm in my own fucking world, and she like redirects me, and I was like, oh, well, that's weird. Like, why wouldn't I just drop? I'm still in my head. I'm like, well, this is stupid. Like, why the fuck wouldn't I drop you there?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure it out. Well, she kind of like attacks me and starts kissing me and stuff. And so eventually I pull out my dick. And
Because that's what happens when you get attacked.
well, we're making out, whatever. Obviously, she, whatever. So I'm in the driver's seat. I pull out my dick. This girl's like, you got such a big dick. Like, and she just keeps going. Like, I can't believe how big it is. Like, just keeps going and going, right? So to the point where I was like, you know what I do for work, right? And she's like, no. And I'm like, what? She goes, no, no. I go, I'm a porn star. And she's like, oh, well, that makes sense. Like, looking at my dick. And I'm like, my sister never fucking told you? Like, this to me would
But
be,
your sister's not being like, yeah.
hey, my brother's a porn star.
And as you're like, she's attacking me and my dick's out. Like, I'm not.
I didn't tell my sister. The girl told me not to tell my sister. I didn't say.
Oh,
I kind of feel
well.
bad about it, but it's my sister. I can't.
I mean, but did she suck it after? Did she?
She did a little
commit?
bit. It's like
Did you tell him to come?
him.
Your
Oh,
dick.
yeah. Well, again, it was.
Come on, what him
it
do you
was a
think I'm
fucking
talking about? You said you talked to your dick earlier and was like, you got to get out of this situation.
I'm in
So
an awkward situation. I'm like, it's not a great hand job. Plus, I'm having this whole fucking
she didn't
conversation.
even put her mouth on it. It was just a hand.
Eventually, she did. Yeah.
I was like,
So
how
she
do
got the
you-
job done. But again, I set the 2-minute
How
rule.
many friends of your sisters have you fucked that haven't?
Back, I haven't in years, but back in the day, I have 3 sisters. So when I was growing up, that's the first time I found out I had a big dick. Was from my sister's friends, because my sister, they
They were
told
like,
my
you should be
sister.
in porn.
No, it like ran around the whole fucking town
So everybody wanted it.
because I started banging on.
How big is it?
Big enough to get
You
big.
measured it. Stop lying.
I've never measured it.
You don't have a dick mold yet? Like, Fleshlight hasn't. This is manifesting here. I have
I'm
a
supposed to do
Fleshlight
one.
pussy
I'm
one,
supposed to do one with Doc Johnson.
So,
whatever you
yeah.
call him.
Where, no one needs a Scott Nails dick to take home with them. Well,
Let's
that
get it.
is the rest of Truth with Texas. Is there anything you'd like to ask me since I grilled you a little bit? We talked a little bit. Is there any?
When we gonna shoot it away?
I said, I don't know. We know when this is going to go. I don't know. Your dick is rented out. It sounds like you have a pretty extensive schedule.
No, I'll fit you in.
You'll fit me in?
Yeah, I guess.
Wow, so nice. My porno boyfriend is coming back, guys. Stay tuned. All right. Please let us know where we can follow you, support you, all the things.
Let's see. Let's start with Instagram if I can get this right. Scott_nails_ and Twitter. I'm gonna say it wrong.
Scott Nails. Go and look at him on all platforms. Google. Google is our friend. Private Talk. I hope you enjoyed this interview. I know I did. Thank you for coming, Scott. And until we meet again. This episode is sponsored by Bet Online.